All right, everybody, here we are. We made it back to Harpers Ferry after 4 good days of relaxation with my wife, Miss First Step.
I love it. Thanks, Blu-ray.
And yeah, so we chilled out in Southern Virginia for 2 or 3 days, and then came up yesterday and attended a birthday party for my sister. And now we're below the bridge where we started 2.5 months ago. And so here in a minute, Miss First Step will take off and go get our daughter in Boston, and we will throw our backpack back on our back and make our way to the bridge here in Harpers Ferry, on the other side of Harpers Ferry, to go over the Potomac and start the northern trek of our AT hike. So welcome back. Hope you didn't miss us too much, and hope you're ready for another 2.5 months of awesome hiking. So let's hike on. And so there goes Miss First Step on her way to pick up our daughter and back to Tennessee. So definitely the hardest part of these times together is the leaving each other. So let's hike on. So here we are in the lower part of Harpers Ferry. And the street as it appears now and the lower street as it appeared in 1880. Day 67, video 4. Again, just a little farther down the road in the lower part of Harpers Ferry. Coming up to the lower section. And looking up, really kind of still in the old city, but the business section. Looking up that way. We're not going to go up there, really just kind of eager to get our hike going again. But just a cool little old city that is definitely worth visiting. And not overly busy, but here in about 2-3 hours, yes. By we get to the midday, it will pick up immensely. So and this is where the armory was, and this sign kind of highlights the small arsenal building that stood here from 1806 to 1861. Was one of 2 warehouses for the nearby armory. Harpers Ferry visitor in 1821 described both buildings as arsenal for deposit of arms manufactured, consisting of rifles, muskets, and some pistols, which are handsomely arranged and make a fine show. In 1859, abolitionist John Brown attacked Harpers Ferry, hoping to inspire revolt against slavery. Brown wanted the arsenal weapons to arm recruits. Brown's raid came to a bloody end, but his action helped propel the nation into the Civil War. When fighting broke out in 1861, retreating U.S. troops burned both federal arsenal buildings to keep the weapons from falling into Confederate hands. Well, there's both the C&O train bridge, the foot walking bridge, and the Potomac. And we're looking into Maryland. So here in a minute we'll cross the footbridge and we will leave West Virginia and we will be in Maryland. Our, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 states on the 18th. Just another nice view of the Potomac as we walk along this. It's actually part of the AT as well as a bike path that runs along the Potomac here. So and so again, we're just on this trail, kind of skirts along or parallels the Potomac River for a while before we start climbing up into Maryland. And just wanted to apologize again. Probably would have been good to do a little video sightseeing of Harpers Ferry. And again, I apologize. We didn't do that. We're not doing that. But you know, after 4 or 5 days off, and just separating ways with my wife again for another month or so, I just didn't feel like it, and just felt like getting back to hiking and getting on the trail. So we did do a little walking around on day 1, so if you go back to that, and then tried to get a little bit of the lower town before we left it. So if that's not enough, then again, I apologize. We're up on Weaverton Cliffs. It's about a 750 feet elevation. Back over Harpers Ferry and the Potomac River Valley. Yes, empty tomb. During the 19th century, few people bought burial plots in public cemeteries as we do today. Instead, a small parcel on their own land was usually set aside as a private cemetery. If enough money was available, a mausoleum was often built for certain family members. Gath, concerned with his own burial, built this lonely tomb about 20 years before his death, which came on April 15, 1914 in New York City. By this time, his great wealth had dwindled, and the near penniless Gath was buried in a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania cemetery instead of his own tomb as he had desired. Gath's empty tomb mutely symbolizes the uncertainties of life, fame, and fortune, and the uncertainty of death. Good night, Gath. Nope. Nothing in there. We're here at the Gaplin State Park, and it is the home of George Alfred Townsend, who was pen name Gath. He was, I guess, born in 1841 and was a poet from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s. And apparently him and his wife Bessie lived here up until her death in the early 1900s, when he kind of went into a perpetual state of mourning and isolation, and eventually moved to New York with his daughter and son-in-law. And then I don't know, I guess eventually the estate was donated to the state and was turned into a state park. So, don't know much more about him than that, but that is the reasoning for Gaplin State Park, or at least the history of it. Hello, little guy. Yeah. Guess you don't want to move. That's okay. It's your world. Stay where you are. And this is a viewpoint named White Rocks. We are 13.5 miles into Maryland, and pretty nice view. Maryland knows it's only got about 36 miles of AT trail, so it's gotta come big early. So nice view of Maryland, brought to you by White Rocks. Hey everybody, so we are 15 miles into today's hike, which means we are right about half a mile, a little less than half a mile from the shelter. Rocky Gap shelter is what we're looking for. So 15 and a half, figure, you know, after we took a 4 or 5 day break, don't want to go too hard at it on the first day back. So we just figured this would be a good one. And it's we got kind of a late start, so we didn't even get walking till 11 o'clock. So again, I think this is good. We can get in there fairly early. It's little after 5:30, somewhere around there. So we should be able to get in there easy by 6. Figure out if we're going to shelter or tent. Have no idea how many people will be there. And yeah, but either way, we should be able to set up camp, eat, and set ourselves up for a good night's rest. And then we'll kind of set our sights on tomorrow. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get to tonight's camp. Well, we are at camp. We are set up. We are done eating. We have got water for the night, and we're about to brush our teeth and get ready for bed. So the shelter is down the hill. I had to come up on the hill to actually get reception, to call my wife and do a little close out with her for the evening. And then while I was up here, I figured I'd just do close out with you. There's 5 other people. We're staying in the shelter tonight because there's only 5 other people, and it's actually a double-deck shelter. I got that picture earlier of the inside, so you kind of seen it. And so good little shelter, and it's sun's getting ready to go down, so I think we'll just focus on getting some good sleep tonight and then getting up tomorrow. And I think doing about a 20 will put us just a couple miles from the Pennsylvania line, and so that'll set us up good for the following day. So good day, good first day going north, a couple good views, and everything was good except for the footpath. I must say, Maryland, probably 50% of the footpath was really rocky, so hopefully that won't be as bad tomorrow. But I guess it's all train up for Pennsylvania, because by all accounts Pennsylvania is definitely that way. So I guess it's just something we'll have to tolerate for the next week or two. So anyways, I think 15 and a half is good for as late as we got started, and the fact that we were off for a couple days. So happy with that, and happy we got a what looks to be a good place to sleep tonight. And so I'm going to focus on getting some good sleep. So we'll see you tomorrow.